Welcome guys, Brandon here from Terminated Gaming, and once again we're back on World of Warships with another replay. Today we're in the Tier 8 Pan-European Destroyer, the Oland, and we are on the Northern Waters map on Epicenter, or as I like to call it, the Death Onion. I'll explain that later when we get a chance. Of course, we are actually top tier in this match, but there are two enemy Tier 6 CVs. Both of them being Vessers, which could be a good thing or a bad thing for us. Now, the Pan-European DDs, if you don't already know, fast reloading torps, speed boost, well, from the Skane video, this is obviously after I just got to the Oland. Speed boost, heal, amazing AA, defensive fire, no smokescreen. You might wonder why I said many thanks. It's because my friendly CV dropped me a fighter right here. So he's going to try to help me stay unspotted, because both CVs are circling. So, I'm not the only DD on my team. There is a Fubuki as well. But this is Epicenter. So on Epicenter, destroyers generally are going to be the guys capping. So I decided I ain't going to be no sissy and sit back. I'm going to actually go and actively try to cap. And so I've capped the outer ring, and I'm about to cap the center or the middle ring when an enemy cruiser actually blocks it. And so I'm like, well, can't cap this. I'm gonna go cap the inner ring. Of course, the enemy CV did fly through the fighter and did spot me there, and now he's actually coming in to attack me here. He gets an damage. Its AP rockets aren't gonna do that much. I turn my AA on here to make sure I wipe out that fighter too, and then I'm going to immediately turn it back off. So 7 plane kills. I have 1 solo cap, and now I'm in the center cap trying to cap that. Mainly is just trying to bring in as many points as possible. Enemy Edinburgh here. You see he's just smoked up. I'm gonna try to launch torps into his smoke screen. So another thing with the Pan-European DDs, it seems like they have a narrow torp spread, which is really nice. Also could be a detriment, but it is very nice. The Edinburgh, of course, does have hydroacoustic search, so I'm not super expecting those torpedoes to connect with anything, but I would love it if they did. Enemy Vesser, I believe, is really just trying to spot me here. Or they're going to be trying to just spot me in this game. Not really trying to do much damage to me, but the spotting from a CV is just as annoying. So we cap the inner ring here. And then I'm going to try to back off a little bit, because being here is not useful. Those torpedoes don't hit anything. The Edinburgh is not where I launched the torpedoes. He moves slightly back. Then the enemy Trento pops up here. I actually start reversing back to the island, because I didn't figure I was going to maybe outrun these two in front of them. I at least didn't want to be in front of them. I'm going to launch torpedoes at the Trento and slightly behind him, because I'm hoping the Edinburgh was still going to back up. The Edinburgh goes forward, so that one salvo, this set of torps is terrible. And they're, of course, being launched at the front of a Trento, so they're not going to do a lot of damage. Or they're not really going to do anything, because he can easily avoid them. But we do land one on his nose, so they don't do a lot of damage, the torpedoes. The flooding is actually doing the damage here now, but it did only about 9,000 damage on landing on that Trento. I am actually reloading AP as I'm trying to... I was getting into a position to either shoot that guy over there or shoot these two cruisers as they came around the corner on me. So now I pop my engine boost here to try to get some distance. I want to be able to turn left here, but I'm trying to keep the distance from the planes in case the planes take a inner berth towards me. And I'm just kind of watching where these two are going. As soon as I get the chance here, I'm going to launch torpedoes against the Edinburgh, because I figured 3 would kill him. I launch the other set against the Trento, and then I start using the guns to shoot at the Edinburgh. I had AP loaded at first, but then at this angle I decided to reload HE. Of course, he dodges the torpedoes by slowing up. I think part of it comes from his engine being knocked out here. And I also missed the Trento too, because both of them get into a position where my torpedoes aren't going to do anything. The Edinburgh is firing AP because that's all he has, and thankfully I'm bouncing most of it. Edinburgh gets taken out by our Trento. My steering gets taken out, so I repair that. I'm being spotted by the aircraft now, so I decide to turn on my AA. And if you notice, you turn on your defensive fire, it turns back on your AA guns. So I lost that entire defensive fire charge and didn't even notice by hitting P, thinking that I had to actually turn my AA back on, or my defensive, or AA back on after the defensive. So I take a huge punishing damage here, because as soon as I was spotted, everybody was firing at me, which is smart. I'm the dangerous DD, and that York actually gets some very lucky shots on me several times here. So I launched torpedoes at the Trento, I launched torpedoes at the York. The Trento was slowing up, so I doubt the torpedoes would hit him, but you miss all the torpedo shots you don't take. And the Wester's actually actively attacking the Trento, so maybe it'll force the Trento out. So at this point in the game, we actually control the two outer caps and the inside. We no longer control the inner ring. Here I'm going to turn my AA on once I get spotted by the aircraft. Just provide AA support. And now that I'm spotted by the aircraft, I left it on and then I turned it right back off. It's about situationally taking and turning on your AA. So we're only up to 14,000 damage. We've solo capped 2 caps, and we've helped assist cap 1. We've only done that 14,000 damage, and it was 1 torp hit and a couple gun hits.
Concentrate fire on the target.
So really haven't done too much. We did get 12 plane kills already, but we are a tier 8 destroyer with tier 6 CVs, so the planes are going to get squashed by the AA of this thing. So at this point, most of the stuff that was in the center cap has died or left, so I feel safe pushing back up into it to cap it again. Because our Fubuki hasn't really wanted to be the one capping, and I'm the guy, of course, that should be capping, right? That was a sarcastic point. I'm normally a cruiser battleship captain, so destroyers are outside of my normal realm of what I play. Of course, the enemy Geed's really low on health, and the enemy Cag has been doing pretty well for himself. He's been constantly covered by fighters, by our friendly CV, so we can't really do anything there to help. So now I'm just trying to be aggressive and cap back everything that we've lost. Of course, now we are down an extra ship. We've lost one of our CVs at this point in the game. Here I'm just launching torpedoes into the gap of where the Kagero was. And then I'm going to turn back and maybe see if I can help take out that Geed and try to get him out of the game. I really should have held those torpedoes and maybe took out a target that I could have. But, hey, you know, if I can eliminate a DD by accident, that's more worthwhile than out of anything. I get spotted by the Wester's planes here, and I do the same thing again. I learned that after this game, that my defensive fire gets messed up because I don't realize that it's turning on my AA when I hit it. Of course, the enemy York, as soon as he's seen me, every time he shot at me, which is really smart. Here I'm just going to outrun the torpedoes by the gate, is what I was figuring, but they run out anyways. And I'm going to try to line up torpedoes against the Strasbourg and push out of this ring to try to actually affect some targets again. And at one point, that New Mexico was at 9 kilometers from me, and I didn't have torpedoes to launch at him because I launched and missed torpedoes on the Kagero. So there are things in this game that I did do that I should have did better. Or choices that I made that I shouldn't have made. And for the most part, every single one of these games, as you see them in the playlist, are as they've been played. I don't really move any replays around, so this is actually after the 2 previous Benham games that you've seen. If you have watched this. If not, the playlist is linked up above, and you can go check out more games that I play in all different types of ships. I generally play everything but CVs, but granted, CVs would be kind of boring to watch. I'm now in the blocking this middle outside ring. We land a torpedo hit on the Strasbourg that causes flooding, and we actually land one on the Vlesser as well, behind him. Strasbourg isn't moving. I'm waiting for the torps to reload. Gonna end up probably running aground right here, is what I was feeling. Yeah, I hit the... And I can't even launch torps, so it wasn't even worth it. But he's still stationary. I launched both sets, and for some reason the first set got 8 by the rock, so I only got 1 out of that first set instead of the 3. So note to self: don't launch torpedoes when that close to a rock, even though your torp tubes are clear of it, because they are just gonna not do anything. They're just gonna get 8 by the rock. So here you see this enemy Vlester's autopilot's taking him to a really bad spot. He's going to get isolated out here on the corner. And if it weren't for that rock eating part of my torps, that Strasbourg might have been dead. So we get 3 more torp hits on him. I'm trying to push up on this Vlesser, because he's one of the CVs has been causing me pain and suffering, and whenever you get a chance to take out a CV, that's awesome. I'm holding back. I was like, why didn't I just shoot here? That's what I'm thinking right now. And I had HE loaded on the first salvo. I just fired it anyways. And then he starts turning in. At this point, I believe he's disengaged his autopilot. And at this I also think he's realized that I'm here, because I think these are his planes behind me. Hey, this time I didn't actually mess up my defensive AA right away. So I cut those torpedoes knowing that he was going to continue his turn, but I don't think he realized that I launched them like I did. So he's probably like, oh, I avoided them. And we're going to hit him with 1 torpedo and cause flooding. But we do actually have both CVs engaging us right here. The one in front of us and the other one. We get the Vlesser here right then, and now I just have to try to avoid his remaining aircraft to live, which easier said than done. But thankfully the Oland's AA is pretty good. I'm trying to turn outwards to avoid as much of that as possible, but still not taking a decent chunk of it. But this is his last little plane. His last chance to hit me is right now. And he gets a little bit more damage off. Now I have to deal with the other Vlesser too, because both of them are targeting me right here at the end of the game. Of course, now the friendly Vlesser that's still alive is close enough where his AA is supporting. He did drop a fighter on me, so I'm getting AA support here at least. And that's the end of the aircraft taking me out. And the enemy CV, the Vlesser that I just killed, is saying he didn't go there intentionally. It was his autopilot, which autopilot does have the issue where that's been kind of a thing that's happening. Here I popped my engine boost. I have no more heals left, mainly because I was figuring on actually charging forward and seeing if I could hit that Strasbourg. But then I see the nuisance is coming around the corner. I'm like, ooh, I might be able to get this, but our Vlester's going after him with torps right now. So any torps I launch at him are going to be useless, because he'll just turn into avoid him, because the Vlester's taking care of him. The Strasbourg is still just starting to move. We don't know where the Kagero is off the top of the hand right now, and the enemy Mogami was last spotted all the way on the other side. Here I turn on my AA to just take out and help the Vlesser, and then I also get my AA defense expert with 35 plane kills, which most of those came here at the end when I started actually attacking the enemy carrier. So I launched torps at that New Mex, but as you notice, the New Mexico is sailing away smartly. You don't want to sail towards the DD. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, ooh, those could potentially hit him. Oh, and then the enemy Kagero, almost on full health, pops up. He can no longer see me, which is good. And I get 1 torp hit on that New Mex, and it wasn't enough to kill him. And he was able to put out my flood, and now he's recovering health. That's a very feels bad moment right there. I was hoping the Vessel would launch planes here so he could spot the Kagero, but I launched my torpedoes at the Strasbourg, or I launch a set at the Strasbourg and then I hold in case the Kagero comes up, because torpedoes are my best chance of taking out the Kagero. Granted, we're so far down on points now at this point. If they kill the CV, game's over. So there's the enemy Kagero. He's closing in distance so he could spot me, but he's getting spotted by planes. So at this point, I just start opening up with guns. It's at this point in the game, it's too late to not try to do something. So we take out his engine with the first set. I'm just trying to turn and dodge his fire because I'm so low on health. I'll only use one gun, but then our CV goes down. I feel like I might have clipped him with a torpedo there, the way it looks, but it's too late to call that anyways. So of course that was a loss in the Oland on Epicenter. 91,000 damage. We got a Dreadnought in our DD, and an AA defense expert for 37 plane kills. We only got 8 torpedoes, so like I said, there was things I did that I could have did better. One destroyed. We capped all 3 rings at one point, solo, and assisted in capping 1. So we lost 1 and got it back. For the team scores, yeah, that's 1,596 base XP on a loss. Finished better than everybody but 3 on the enemy team. And of course, it was the 3 best players on the enemy team, that Strasbourg, that Numex, and that Kagero. And like I said, if I made 2 mistakes there, I had a chance to take out both of those 2 players that are on the top of the enemy team. I had a chance. And I didn't take those opportunities when they were presented to me. But of course, our other Vessler there at the end, he didn't get killed, but we lost on points. He did fairly well that game as well. The enemy CVs didn't do bad either. They were playing more of a nuisance to me for the most part there at the end. Detailed report, most of our damage of course came to that Vessler that we killed, and the Strasbourg, and then all the rest of it spread out across a whole bunch of other ships. Yeah, we really didn't do a whole bunch. We did just shy of 60,000 damage with the torpedoes, and around 20,000 with the guns themselves. 722,000 potential damage received. We received direct damage of 19,580, which would have killed the ship, obviously. And we spotted for only 55,000. So, but we did shoot down 37 aircraft, so that's pretty cool. Like tier 6 aircraft. And that's the credit and XP screen if you care about that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's so really much appreciated, and I'll catch you guys most definitely on the next one. Peace out.
Shut up and sit down.